Guys, so what we have here is a repeating pattern consists of the following blocks. Okay, so list the positions of the first three red blocks, and then is there a pattern? Okay, so what we have is red is 1. So part 1, it's 1, 4, 7, 10. Okay, is there a pattern? Yes. A pattern starting at 1 and going up in 3. Pattern starting at 1 and goes up in 3s. Okay. What about question 2? The white pattern. It's 2, 5, 8, 11. Okay, and then it is a pattern, except this time it starts at 2 and goes up in 3s. Same deal. Okay, and finally the last one, which is part 3, which is the blue blocks. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, so 3, 6, 9, and 12. Yes, there is a pattern. It starts at 3 and goes up in 3s. Okay, pretty much everybody got those ones very handy. Okay, now that's done. What we're looking at next, guys, is part 4. Okay. What is the colour of the 48 block? So my suggestion is you pick one of the colours. It doesn't matter which colour you pick, and you count up in 3s. So what we're going to do is so guys, I'm going to pick the white ones, which is 2, 5, 8, and 11. All of these are white, so all I have to do is start off at 11. 11 plus 3, 14, plus another 3 is 17. These are all whites. 20 is white, 23 is white, 26 is white. I keep going until I get close to 48. And where do I stop? 47. This means that the 47 block is white. What does that mean about the 48? 48 comes after 47, therefore it must be blue. Okay, what's the colour of the 50th block? Well, if we know the 48th block is blue, we know that the 49th is red. Therefore, we know that the 50th is going to be white. So that one there will be white. What colour is the 100th block? Keep counting up in 3s. The 50th block is white. 53 is white. Keep going. These are all white blocks. 77 is white. Keep going. 98 is white. So if you rub this out again, you can start off here. That's 98. 99, 100. So what does that mean about the 100 block? Red. So guys, that's how you did that. A lot of you were trying to make it more complicated than it actually was. Just counting upwards in 3s. Use your calculator. Any questions? Wait a second. An arithmetic sequence. Okay, Sean. What are you guaranteed about an arithmetic sequence? Any ideas? What is an arithmetic sequence? Can anybody tell me? Common difference is the same. So you have T1, T2, and T3. What you notice is that the difference is always there. What do we mean by difference? What is a difference? The gap in between them. So if you get T3 minus T2, that's how you get the gap, isn't it? One term minus the term that comes before it, and then that will equal T2 minus T1. Everybody cool with that? Okay guys, what is T3 then in this one? T3, anybody? K plus 18, take away. Anybody? 2k plus 1 equals T2, which is? Take away. K plus 6. It's the bracketing that got most people. K plus 18. There's a minus 1 in here. It multiplies in. Minus 2k minus 1. Then there's a 2k plus 1, and there's a minus 1 in here, which makes that minus k minus 6. What happens after this then, guys? K minus 2k? 1k minus 2k? Minus 1k. 18 minus 1? 17. 2k minus k? K. 1 minus 6? Minus 5. Bring the k's to the left, the numbers to the right. We're going to get is minus 1k minus another 1k equals minus 5 and then minus 17. minus 2k equals minus 22. What happens then? Yeah, you could also multiply both sides by minus if you wanted, and then just divide by 2 to get 11. Or the way Sean described it was minus 22 over minus 2 will also get you k equals 11. Same thing. Okay. Okay. This one had tricky language in it, so sometimes I didn't punish this for certain parts of this question. Okay. Lenny begins the month with 23 texts. Okay. So the way I think, I tend to overthink these sometimes. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing morning and night. I think the question for me, I would have found this question quite tough, to be honest. Some of you didn't find it tough at all, and then some other people had the same problem I'd have when I was reading this question. Is that if this is the day, this is day 1, okay? Now in the morning you have how many? You have 20 texts, yeah. And then how much do you have at night time then? See, it didn't specify. Do you get messages the same night, or do you have to wait a day and then you get it the following night? It didn't specify that, so that's why I allowed 2 different answers for this. Okay. Now it is an arithmetic sequence. Okay. So what's going to be the same from now on is that at the end of each night, so the day 1 at night time and day 1 you have 22 texts. Yeah. And I'm going to start off with 122. Okay, and then on night time of day 2 is going to be 24. Night time of day 3, 26. You get the gist, don't you? Does it tell me to draw the full table though, does it? It tells me to first 10 days. Okay, so I have to draw a table. So what I'm going to do is just going to get rid of the morning table now, because I've explained to myself what my interpretation of it. So I'm just going to call this guy, what's he called? Lenny. Okay, so Lenny's here, and then I just have to just go and finish off my table. Okay, so just I think I could draw a straight line, couldn't you? 3, 4. Okay. Just out of interest, do you know when you're drawing this graph, what's the quickest way to draw this graph when you're doing it? It's the first point and the last point. First point and the last point, it's a straight line because it's going up by the same amount each time. So if you just draw the first point and the last point and join them together, you'll get a really good line. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have this is going to go 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38 and 40. So on the night of day 10, you're going to have 40 texts. Is that okay? What about the other person? They start off at 0 each night. 3 free texts each night. So once again, I'm doing this at night time. At night time of day 1, you're going to get 3 texts. 3, 6, 9. I'm just going to keep going up. 12, 15, 18, 21. What's the person's name for that? Jane. Okay. So look, there's my table done. That'll get you 10 marks. If you have a slightly different table, I think Sam does, but I didn't say. You have a slightly different table, don't you? You start off at I think what it's looking for is draw a table showing number of free text for the first 10 days. So free text includes what the 20 you begin with. So if you didn't include the 20 you began with, and then it says for the first 10 days, so you have to give the grand total at the end of each day. So it'll be 22 at the end of day 1, 24 at the end of day 2. So you have to present it like that. Represent both sets on the graph. Now guys, I'm going to show you a really quick way of drawing this, alright? I'm going to write down, will somebody write down these points for me as well? I'm going to write down, for Jane, I'm going to write down the point 1, 3. And then I'm going to write down the point 10, 30. Okay, for Lenny, I'm going to write down these 2 points. I'm going to write down the point 122. Some of you might have started off on 120. I didn't punish you for that. And then what's the other point I'm going to put down? At the end, on the 10th night we had 40 texts. So, do you know what these points actually mean? What this point actually means is the left number. The number on the left says what night is it. Jane, at the end of night 1, the night of day 1, she had 3 texts. 10:30 means Jane, at the night of the 10th day, had 30 texts. And then, same for Lenny, 10:40 means at the night of the 10th day, he had 40 texts. Okay? So it's time, if you draw the first point and the last point, okay, what you can do is, you can, there we are there, that's the points there, okay? So if you draw the first point and the last point, and you're going for all 10, so what we're going to have here, just need to make this ever so slightly smaller. There we go. So that's your grid there. So you're going to have 2 points, okay? So the 2 points is, most of you will have a diagram like this. The bottom one is Jane, and the top one is Lenny. Which one's increasing faster? Jenny or Lenny? Jenny's on the bottom. Oh, sorry, Jane's on the bottom, and Lenny's on the top. So who's going up at a quicker rate? Jane. Now, guys, look what happens here. If we zoom this out even further, look what happens when you extend the line. If you extend the line through, so if you draw the line and you let it keep going, what's going to happen further down? What's going to happen is they're eventually both going to cross each other. And when they cross each other, this point here is the point 2060. Can anybody in the class explain to me what does the point 2060 mean in the context of this question? Sorry? So, on the night of day 20, both of them will have 60 texts. So there is a point at which they're equal. 20 days in, they're both going to be equal to each other. Everybody get that? Now, there's another way of doing that, okay? The other way of doing this is, like, if you just kept counting all the way down. So you just keep adding on 3 to this one. You just keep adding on in 3s, and you just keep adding on in 2s. Just keep adding, and then eventually by day 20, you'll find that they'll both arrive at 60 at the same point. So yeah. Okay? Shh. Just 1 second, guys. Represent both sets of results on the graph. Your graph will look something like this here. Okay, now, there is one thing I forgot to do here. You don't join up to 0, 0. So, I'll just keep on doing this for a second. Okay, so, excuse me a second. Okay, so, guys, you're meant to have C going to D and A going to B, like I had at the start of the question. Okay, it shouldn't go back. Your line should start at A and start at C, so it shouldn't be going backwards like that. It should only be going up to the right. Is that okay? All right. Now that's solved. Will Lenny and Jane ever have the same number of free texts on the same day? Yes. 2060 on day 20. Sorry, night time. I'm being really specific here. Night time of day 20, because that's when you get the free texts at night time. Okay? Who, in your opinion, has a better deal? Now, you've made value arguments both ways. Here's what some people said. Some people said, look, after day 20, what's going to happen is Jane's deal is going to take her above Lenny. So on day 21, Jane will have 63 texts compared to Lenny's 62. And that trend will continue, where Jane is gradually getting more and more texts. Somebody else made a counter argument that, well, that's 20 days into a month. I'd rather have I may have to make a lot of text earlier in the month. So what happens on the very first day, you want to make a lot of texts. So if somebody did a counter argument that, well, look, I personally would like to put most of my texts at the start of the week or start of the month, which is worth full marks as well. Okay, that's it, guys. Any questions? Here is the general term Tn of an arithmetic sequence is given by Tn equals 2n plus 5. So Tn is 2n plus 5. What I'm going to do straight away is I'm going to find out what T1, T2 and T3 is. Just so I can find out what exactly is going on here. 2 times 1 plus 5, 2 times 2 plus 5, and then 2 times 3 plus 5. what I'm going to get is 7, 9, and 11. Now, it states it wants me to find the A value, and it wants me to find the D value. So A is equal to 7, because it's the very first term, and your D value equals 2. So that'll get you 5 out of 10, okay? Now, once you've done that, it says SN. To make a good, solid attempt at this, without even doing any work, you know it's an arithmetic sequence, and it says SN. Money is to put in the formula. 2A plus N minus 1 times D. Now, can anybody in the class tell me what is the difference between S 160 and SN equals 160? Can anybody explain the difference, please? Or on a smaller base, on a smaller one, what is the difference between I don't know, SN equals 16 and S16? Can anybody tell me? S16 means add T1, T2, T3, T4. Add them all together, all the way up till T16. It says what are the first 16 of them added together? What will you get? However, SN equals 16 is basically how many terms do you need to add together to get 16? I chose this example because it's really easy to see that it's going to be 9 plus 7, which is 16. So it'll be S2 equals 16. When you add the first two together, you get 16. So therefore, whereas SN equals 160, how many terms does it take us to add together to give us 160? That's what we're being asked. Okay? So, in order to do a question like this, we adjust the SN formula. So what's the SN formula going to be? N over 2, brackets 2 times A, anybody? 14. Times 2. D is 2. 2n minus 2. And then finally, what we're going to get is 12 plus 2n, n over 2, multiplied by 12 plus 2n. Does anybody know how to multiply that? If I gave you a fraction multiplied by a number, what would you do to multiply this out? 3 times 5, 15, 7 on the bottom. Is that right? So multiply top by top and just put the bottom underneath. So we're going to get 12n plus 2n squared, all divided by 2. Is that okay? Now guys, pay attention guys. Can I divide everything by 2 there now? Does 12n divide by 2? 6n. Does 2n squared divide by 2? N squared. Now, that's what Sn is. It says Sn is 6n plus n squared. Now, if I go to the very top, it says Sn is equal to 160. Therefore, I expand this to be equal to 160. Can anybody tell me what to do next? 160 to the other side. N squared plus 6n, take away 160. What are two factors of a reference number of 160? Pick two numbers. Start small. 1 and 160, no good. 2 and 80, no good. 4 and 40, not really any good either. Keep going. 8 and 20. I know, I'm working my way up to a 10 and 16. I'm just showing the logical progression towards it. Okay. With a negative reference number, are you allowed to have two minuses? Are you allowed to have two minuses? No. You have to have a minus and a plus. So plus 16 and a minus 10. So this comes to n minus 10. N plus 16 equals 0. Then we're going to get n plus 16 equals 0. N equals minus 16. That's no good. N minus 10 equals 0. Bring over to 10. N equals 10. Which is the correct answer? 10 or 16? Or minus 16? 10. Okay? And just to really hit the point home, remember we said that it goes up 7, 9, 11. Yeah? That's T1, T2, T3. Yeah? If I keep going, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, T10. If I add all of these numbers together, what result will I get? 160. The first 10 terms added together will get you 160. It's impossible to have a minus number because there's no such thing as the minus 10th term or the minus 16th term. Okay? Next question is, first term, Tn equals A plus n minus 1 times d. T1, guys, is A plus 1 minus 1 times d. T1 is A plus 0d. What's 0d? Does it exist? So, we already have, most of us have this learned off anyway. T1 equals A. What's T5 equal to then? T5 is A plus 5 minus 1 times d, which is A plus 4d. We're then told that A, the first term, equals 7. This means A equals 7. Therefore, T5 is going to be 7 plus 4d, which is equal to 19. Bring the 7 over the other side. 4d equals 19 minus 7. 4d equals 12. Divide by 4. D equals 3. Everybody get that? 7 and 3? Find an expression for Tn, the nth term, and otherwise solve, find T20. Here's the Tn formula. So this is equal to A, which is 7. This is 3. Multiply it out. A plus 3n minus 3. It's going to be 3n plus 4. It can also be written as 4 plus 3n. Same thing. Finally, what is T20? T20 is anywhere you see n, put in 20. 3 times 20 plus 4, 64. Finally, which term of the sequence is equal to 100? Is it Tn equals 100? Or is it T100? What is that question asking us? Which one? Option A or option B? Option A is going to tell you which term equals to 100. Paddy? Option A, Tn equals 100, tells you which term equals 100. T100 is what is the 100th term equal to. So we're going to go for Tn equals 100. 3n plus 4 equals 100. Bring over the 4. 3n equals, that's minus 4. 3n equals 96. N equals 32. The 32nd term. Okay, that's it.